Hi, everybody. Just wanted to quickly introduce myself and my colleague. I'm Megan Gordon. I'm the Assistant Director of Offsite Graduate Programs at the College of New Jersey. Our division handles the operations of TCNJ programs that are taking place not on our campus. We currently work with a number of school districts, including South River, running cohorts in different areas like teaching ESL and bilingual education, special education, and educational leadership. And then we also have another wing of our business that works with international teachers. We run courses overseas in Portugal during the summer and online during the academic year. We've been working with South River for the past couple of years. We've got a current teaching ESL and bilingual cohort, and we were so excited to bring this back to the district with the additional ability to provide some grant funding. Your district has actually been extremely generous with the way that they've subsidized tuition and actually handled the contract up front. So I know that there is a big need in your district, like lots of other districts, for teachers who are certified in teaching ESL and bilingual education. So we're really happy to bring this program to you. Just wanted to introduce you also real quickly to Dr. Timothy Hall, who is our grant coordinator and also instructor in our program. Tim, I don't know if you want to say a couple words.
Other than hello, and yes, you're right. I'm one of the instructors in the program, and I'm really excited to be able to tell you a little bit about it. It's been very successful for us, and it's been really great value for the participants as well. So,
great, thank you. I'm just going to share my screen and just share a quick presentation. Is everybody able to see the presentation okay? Wonderful, thank you so much. So let me just make everybody a little bit smaller. So as we've mentioned in the literature that has most likely come through Ms. Colon, we are able to provide a couple different pathways to certification in teaching English as a second language and or bilingual education in the district. As mentioned, we do have some grant subsidy, which will not only help to reduce the cost of tuition, but the grant actually takes care of a lot of the other fees towards certification, such as testing fees and state certification fees. So it's really a very good deal. We'll talk a little bit more about those numbers in a little while. Wanted to mention, though, that there are a couple different programs that we are planning to provide in district. The first is a certification in teaching English as a second language. This is a program that is of huge value for regular classroom teachers, as well as those who want to be specializing in a teaching ESL environment. We've got two different pathways for this program. The first is an endorsement program, which is an add-on to your current instructional certification. That's a total of 5 courses or 15 credits. We also have a pathway for those staff members, either paraprofessionals or assistant teachers, who may not yet be certified in an instructional area, and that is a program of 7 courses or 21 credits. The other program, and this can be done in conjunction or apart from the teaching ESL program, is a bilingual endorsement program. This is a 4-course or 12-credit program to teachers who are already certified. I just wanted to highlight and mention that the bilingual courses, and we'll talk a little bit more about the structure of the program, the bilingual courses are nested within the teaching ESL course program. So many of the participants will actually complete both programs because it's only the addition of 1 class to go from bilingual to teaching ESL. So it's a pretty attractive offer. I do know, though, that sometimes people are certified and they are just looking for bilingual. So as we mentioned, one of the benefits of participating in a cohort program is to bring the program directly into your district. Because we recognize the need in South River for additional teachers who are certified in teaching ESL and or bilingual, we want to bring this to you. Now, that's not to say that it's a modified program or a watered down program. This is certainly, a full-fledged, rigorous graduate program. The outcome would be a certification in either teaching ESL or bilingual, but we really do try to make it very convenient. Courses right now are running solely online, and this was just really the way we needed to do it, obviously, during the pandemic. And we've found that the online courses have been very helpful for our participants. Typically speaking, we offer one course per semester. We try very hard to come up with one evening a week, usually Monday, Tuesday, or Wednesday. Class will meet online for about 2.5 hours, usually 5 to 7:30. And we try to keep this consistent throughout the entirety of the program for your planning purposes. But again, the online really helps to really cut down on the barriers such as childcare or travel. So we've found that this is a really good fit for this specific program. Courses are taught by our TCNJ faculty and adjuncts. We've got quite a few instructors who are current teachers in the New Jersey schools. Dr. Hall is actually one of them. So we're bringing expertise in strategies to best meet English language learners and their families directly into your district. Another benefit of this program is that it creates a really nice springboard for future graduate work. The endorsement in teaching ESL, which is 5 courses, is actually nested perfectly within our master's degree in teaching English as a second language. So a lot of cohort participants take the financial benefit of being able to knock out those 5 courses, earn the certification, and then go directly into the master's program. So we see about 50% of our certificate completers go into the master's degree, and that's certainly an option available to you coming through a cohort. And I think probably the most important benefit of this program is cost. We have been extremely lucky. We are actually on our 3rd major grant from the Department of Education. It's a National Professional Development Grant. So we have been able to offset costs for our students going through teaching English as a second language and bilingual programs since 2011. So we're really thrilled to be able to pass the savings along to your district and to you. Just wanted to provide you with an overall course plan of what this program looks like. This is working off of the assumption of a spring 2023 start. And I know that sounds kind of nuts because we are already in the spring 2023 semester. We do have the ability to start this first class a little bit later. But as you can see, we are planning to offer 1 course per semester, including summers. That actually makes it a very, very quick timeline to complete the program. It would be this spring, this early summer, May, June, this coming fall, then next spring and next summer. So by summer 2024, those of you who would be completing the endorsement would actually be finished with the program. You'll notice that there are a couple of courses listed on this program planner that have a double asterisk. Those are the courses that are required for anybody who would be joining the cohort who is not yet a certified teacher in an instructional area. So we would work to bring those into the district as well. You can see though that the subsidy actually for those pre-service individuals is much greater. There's actually no cost for the student teaching. We're actually working in partnership with your district right now. If there are any of you on this call right now who are pre-service and would be going for initial certification, we're working to create the easiest pathway for you to remain employed and also get that student teaching done. And that's something we can talk about separately as well. Typically, if we were all in the same room right now, I might have everybody raise their hand and let me know a little bit more about their status, but we'll just work off of the assumption that you're potentially falling into one of these 2 buckets. Before I jump ahead to this, Tim, I don't know if you want to maybe talk a little bit about the structure of some of these classes and give a little bit of a sense about what the courses actually look like in practice.
Sure, absolutely. So I'll talk about like how I'm running the class this semester. So I'm currently teaching 587 for another cohort at this moment, a curriculum and methods. And typically what we see is that the courses run from 5 to 7:30. And generally we try to get the instructor to work with the spring break of your district instead of the spring break of the college, just to kind of align with your schedules a little bit. So working with an approximately 2.5-hour class, again, all online. We really do try to make the work as hands-on as possible. So for example, in my course in curriculum and development, we're actually designing 2 types of curricula, one for an adult ed, because a lot of public schools tend to run adult ed programs in the evenings in their communities. But it's also a great way to explore ideas relating to curriculum that we have flexibility without being beholden to New Jersey standards. Then another a project we do in our course, once again, is collaborative, is building what we call a content co-curriculum, where we ask groups of learners to collaborate and look at a particular subject area, perhaps bring in some content that they're already teaching, like a unit, and then develop the language support piece that goes alongside. Before we get to 587, it's important to have just a general awareness of language in society. That is to say, how different people view language and how they understand language in the social context. We use that course a lot to raise questions about linguistic bias and cultural bias. So really is dealing with these sort of the social implications of being a multilingual learner in K-12 schooling. Then the second course is language structure, which helps us think about vocabulary and grammar and sort of the nuts and bolts of language and how all those piece together. We bring the previous 2 courses into our awareness in 587, and then in 525, which is second language acquisition theory, that really delves into an understanding of how language learning happens, and also sort of the causal factors, if you will, but also the path. Like, what does the learning path look like, and what are our realistic timelines, depending upon whether a learner is instructed or not. And then 578 typically wraps up for the in-service participants, wraps up the program, and that's really just sort of taking cumulatively everything that we've learned in the previous 4 courses and really refining our skill sets and knowledge as well. So typically our instructors are really good at running courses online. We don't see a whole lot of lecture-based approach at all. There's a lot of collaborative work that goes on in the courses, and there never feels like there's enough time because, there's just so many good things that everybody's working on. So I'll leave it at that.
Thank you so much. I appreciate that overview. We do also have a comprehensive exam that's required for anybody who is finishing up the program. But we try, very, very hard to pace this program in a way that works for working teachers. We recognize that, the return to graduate school is not always an easy feat, especially when balancing teaching and family potentially. So we really try to chunk this as best as we can in courses per semester. And we really try to get as much collaboration as possible. So I'm going to be, when I stop sharing my screen, I'm going to put some links into the chat, and I'll also follow up with an email. But if it looks like this is a program that may be of interest to you, we are going to be working with a pretty quick turnaround right now. That's one of the benefits and one of the downsides of having some grant funding is we need to spend it as expeditiously as possible. So we are hoping to start our first class, which is ESLM 577, the sociolinguistics class, toward the end of February or the beginning of March. We have not yet decided on which night the class will meet. There's a couple different factors that go into making that determination. One of them has to do with district faculty meetings, although because this class would be meeting a little bit later in the evening, that may not be as much of an issue. And then what we do is when we find our instructor, we've got to make sure that he or she is able to teach on that specific night. So what we usually like to ask is that our interested candidates let us know their plans via a pre-registration form. And I will share the link with you once I shut the screen down. If you could please, if you are interested in that, please let us know no later than February 10th. What we do from there is we follow up with some information about applying for matriculation. Now, we are very fortunate through this sort of cohort program to allow for a very reduced application package. The only things that are required to apply for this program are an online application, a copy of your teacher certification if you are already a certified teacher, and a copy of your resume. We don't ask for an essay or letters of recommendation. We waive the fee for the application. So we really try to make it as accessible as possible. There is also a possibility, and I don't want to confuse anybody, but we have the ability to do what we call a quick admit, which would mean filling out a visiting student application, which just allows TCNJ to assign you a pause ID number, which allows us then to register you for the class. So depending on when exactly we're planning on starting the class, I may reach out to those of you who fill out the pre-registration form and say, you know what, we're going to hold on matriculation this semester. We're going to have you join us for the first class as a visiting student. So I didn't want you to be surprised if you receive some communication about that. Something else that we do in offsite graduate programs is we really try to ease the administrative steps required of the students going through the cohort program. So we actually register you on our side. And every time we register you, we will send you a confirmation email. It will provide information about accessing the TCNJ systems. It'll let you know exactly when your class is meeting. And it'll also provide any payment information if necessary. We're working with the district right now to determine if payment will be coming from the student side or from the district side. That's kind of a sense of the very next steps for this program. Wanted just to provide a quick preview of what happens on the other side. So I'll just use the example of a pre-service teacher who's going through the 5-course, 15-credit sequence for the endorsement for the ESL program. So during the final semester, all students will apply for graduation. There's no fee to do this, but it really allows our Office of Records and Registration to check you out from your program. At that time also, if you have not already taken the ACTFL exam, which is the OPI and the WPT, we would actually arrange for you to take that. This is something else that the grant is able to help accommodate financially. This is the test that's required for certification in New Jersey. It's just, this program requires the ACTFL in lieu of a praxis. And then offsite graduate programs would also work with you to submit an application for certification to the state of New Jersey. So we really try our very best to ease the administrative burden and allow you to focus on your coursework and serving your district where they have needs for teachers certified in TESL and bilingual. Just wanted to review quickly a couple of questions that come up frequently, and then I will happily open it up to some broader questions. One of the questions that we do get quite a lot is financial aid available for this program? Once you are matriculated, which means you've gone through the reduced application process, you would be eligible in so far that you were registered for at least 2 courses in every semester. And if you'll recall from the general course schedule that we were looking at, there are actually no semesters in this program where you would be enrolled in 2 courses. If for some reason you needed financial aid or wanted financial aid, we could certainly talk about options for this. Sometimes teachers who also plan on doing the master's degree will take a course during the same semester that a certificate course is offered in order to become eligible for financial aid. But please, just wanted to put that out there as something we could talk about on an individual basis if needed. We do get a question frequently about, what if I have to miss a course? We all recognize that, life can get very hectic and there may be times when you might not be able to devote a semester to coursework. One of the benefits of joining a cohort is really to learn from your peers and vice versa. So we really do try our very hardest to keep those who start in a cohort together through the very end. That being said, we recognize that things do happen. We would work with you through offsite graduate programs to help you get caught up for whatever missed course you had. Best possible solution would be to pair you with another cohort, potentially starting later down the line, where you could make that course up online. Another option would be coming and taking the course on campus at TCNJ in Ewing, or through our offsite graduate programs, either globally or online. There are lots of different options. I did just want to highlight, though, that the grant funding often does not apply for those situations. So certainly the best possible value is to take all of the courses through the cohort model. I know I touched on this a little bit earlier, but if you have any thoughts about doing a master's degree, this is certainly a very simplified way to begin that program. The endorsement in teaching English as a second language is actually 50% of the master's degree. So after the completion of the certificate, you have a research course, a literacy course, and then 3 electives. For anybody who would be going through the initial certification pathway, you'd actually only have 3 courses. It would be the research course and 2 electives. So it's not a terrible way if you're thinking about pursuing your education. Teaching ESL is a great pathway to follow for a master's degree. We do get a lot of questions about what the workload is like. I know I mentioned this previously. Sometimes there's a misconception that because we are doing this in district and especially online, that this is sort of professional development work. I do want to highlight, though, that this certainly is a rigorous graduate program. So in addition to the 2.5 hours synchronously that you would be spending with your instructor in class during the week, I would say there's about, and Tim, you can correct me if you have a different perspective, about 3 to 4 hours. And obviously that'll, wax and wane depending on the course and the time in the semester. We always do, give you a heads up on the syllabus if you'd like to review that, but just wanted to provide a little bit of information about sort of the all-in commitment above and beyond the synchronous class time. That is pretty much it for our general presentation. I'd love to open this up to questions. I've put our contact information on the slide. We'll be sending this out so that you don't need to write anything down, but I would, now I can see everybody again. Hi, Gabriella. I'd love to open it up, though, to any questions that we can answer as a group. And if you have a question that might be more specific, please feel free to hang on after the call, and Dr. Hall and I are happy to answer your questions individually. I am, while you're thinking through any possible questions you have, I am going to share a handout that is very similar to the presentation we just provided. It has the link for the pre-registration form and other information that you'll need if you're thinking through the program. Just bear with me for 1 second while I grab that for you. Okay. Gabriella, any Any comments or important information from your side about the value of the program to the district?
Well, I know I'm biased, and I think so. I was a past TESL, past bilingual teacher, and I know I initially started as a gen ed teacher, as a mainstream gen ed, early ed, P3, K6 teacher, and for me, getting the ESL bilingual endorsement, it just changed my whole view on education. And now I've spiraled down this crazy world of ESL bilingual supervisor, but I didn't know what I didn't know. Now I can't unsee things from this perspective. So I think it's just been a great experience for me. From South River, our population since I started a couple of years ago has doubled. And we're continuing to grow. I see a need for additional training, but also additional staff at every building. Every building you'll see we're just at capacity or past capacity in every ESL class. So it's definitely a growing field. I know from Dr. Zurcher's perspective, she just sees this as another really valuable, perfect timing for us. But I think from the funding perspective, also, she's really prioritizing this in the district. So I know one of the questions was, would the teachers pay the balance of the district? The district would cover that from the beginning, so that the teachers wouldn't have to look at getting reimbursed. We would just cover initially going in. I also want to just let you know, because this did come up during the last cohort's info session, I am not looking to poach you and pull you from your content or grade level, unless you are trying to get poached. I'm not trying to, move or you get certified and then, I'm trying to claim you as an ESL teacher. I think it's just, we would look at, saying, okay, we know that these teachers now have the training and resources to support this population, that you may already have classes of half of your kids being Ls, because that's just where our population is growing. So I just wanted to reassure you, although if positions ever became available, you're more than welcome to apply internally. I don't know if you have any questions specific for me or from the district's perspective that I can maybe get some information for you.
Thank you for that. I really, we partner with quite a few school districts, but I have to say, in the relatively short time that we've been working with South River, we have seen the investment on the district's part to really prop up its staff and make sure that the students are getting the best possible experience. So we're so proud to be in this position to offer this program once again in your district. The fact that the district is covering the small remainder of the non-grant funded component is huge. I mean, really having certification for nothing out of pocket sounds to me like the best possible deal in town. Maybe would give a prop up to continue coursework later on, but we're really excited about the prospect of having another go around in South River.
And I didn't even think to invite, but the teachers that are currently, and you may know some already of your colleagues who are in the program, I do check in with them. Sometimes it's just like in passing in the hallway, and it's like our nice little common thread that ties us together. And every time I do catch someone in the hallway, they feel the need to provide me an update, like, oh, this class, or I'm almost done, or I took this test. And especially when they were taking the OPI WPT, everyone was just stopping me like mid-hall to tell me about their fears and anxiety. And then afterwards, a couple weeks later, the relief about that exam. So I've heard lots of great things. If you know of colleagues who are going through the program, you can also touch base with them. They have some good insider perspective, but from what I can hear, I've heard nothing but lovely things. So I'm sure that would reassure or answer any other questions that you may have. And my office is in the media center of the middle school. So you can also feel free to stop by if you have any questions tomorrow, send them via email. Awfully quiet bunch. No questions, concerns, complaints. Okay.
And
How large of a cohort are you looking at?
I'm so sorry. Can you say that one more time?
How large of a cohort are you looking at?
Sorry. Go ahead, Gabriella.
No, we're looking for, I think somewhere between 12 and 15.
Mm-hmm.
And I believe our current cohort is about 12.
Yes. And if any other questions come up, if you're anything like me, the moment I hang up, I realize I need information on something. My contact information is on that information sheet that I sent out via the chat. I'll also be following up through email. The email will most likely come from our main office account, which is osgp@tcnj.edu. So make sure that you have all of the information, including a recording of today's meeting in front of you. But I think Dr. Hull and I will hang out for a little while if anybody has any questions that come to mind. But if not, we just wanted to thank you, and thank you, Gabriella, so much for welcoming us back in again. We're really thrilled to work again with your district, and just looking forward to another go around.
My pleasure.
Thank you.
I'll also stay on if anybody wants to stay and chat.
Thank you. So it's sort of the slow drop off on a Zoom.
Yeah, I just want to say I'm sorry my camera's not working
No worries.
at every point, but I just wanted to say thank you, and definitely interested. And I'm also a TCNJ alum, so I don't know if that will ease the matriculation. It's been quite a few years though, so I don't know if my pause account is still active.
So, the one good thing about that, Valerie, is you will not have to submit any transcripts. Really, really simple to actually get your account up and running again. I'm looking at the calendar, and I know I mentioned, the visiting student application versus matriculation. So when it comes time for matriculation, it'll just be one step shorter for you of a pretty simple application anyways.
Perfect. All right. That sounds great, but it sounds wonderful. And I look forward